Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm Will Dragon, and this is All Quiet in the Trenches. You join us as we get back to a camp phase. Now, of course, as I mentioned last episode, we did see the beginning of this, but RNG changes every time I load back into the game to continue recording the series. So, the one I remember, I don't remember entirely, maybe some of you guys do remember, maybe a little bit more from watching the episodes. I think we've gotten off a little bit lighter. Honest, I feel like we had a fuller hospital last time. But there were no bad effects last time, there were no bad effects this time. So I think that's roughly the only difference. Hell of a ride, isn't it? And obviously a few days off for you and your men. You are lucky. You're only following orders. I, on the other hand, will now have to write a report to the Army Command about the effects, the reaction of the French and the gas masks. Okay, I get a few days off. Huzzah. Everybody can rest. We are on double rations for 2 turns. How are we looking in a couple of days? You know, I'm also... Although, hang on. Wait. Framm. Tired and injured. No, wait, tired and injured. I thought Lots was injured. Never mind. Tired, injured, and sick and tired of war. Tired and injured. You know what? I am going to... Although I should get more supplies next turn anyway, we do have near enough full prestige, which I would have thought would have been maxed out after our last easy victory, and I did get a couple of reports on the effects on the French. I did it at least 3 times. A couple of times with a doctor and a trained medic. I would have thought would have maybe made the task go a little bit better. Maybe not. Some of the men who had been granted leisure time went off to spend the evening in the village tavern, including Wellinger. The next morning I saw him brooding and biting his nails. Did everything go well yesterday? I asked him. Wellinger looked up, startled. Yes, everything's fine. I met other soldiers, Herr Unteroffizier. One of them was an accountant at the field brothel. Can you imagine that? That's like winning the lottery. That's it. Proud to be a soldier. He is... Could request a transfer for you. Well, it's not really a lottery, I relented. I can request a transfer for you if I think it's the right thing to do. Renninger looked at me with wide eyes. See what I can do. Renninger jumped up as if to immediately prove that he had earned it. I will not find a soldier with higher motivation anytime soon. Can I actually request this? I mean, I'm in pretty good standing with him, you know? And I request a transfer? Change down to tired, change to well-rested, tired removed. Drained removed. Change down to a good mood, that's because of the bad weather. Good news removed, belonging removed, change to well-rested. Yet went up. 1 turn of double rations. Who wants to speak to me? Resupply came in. I had to bring your ration directly to your unit's stockpile. Nice, that takes me from 3 to 5 on double rations. Where are we up to, by the way? We are into November. So we're still about, I can't remember the exact dates, but I believe it's March or April off the top of my head. I think it's April, so we are still 5 months off the first home leave, and that's 5 months of things simply getting worse. One of my patrols was scheduled to return yesterday, but there's still no sight of them. Send out your own patrol to find the comrades, and God have mercy on them if it turns out they were just dilly-dallying. Okay, so no, I can't request a transfer. That would have been hilarious. Useful skills are simply good eyeballs, and so sociable and compassionate seem to apparently be skills that are useful. I'm gonna send Con. Somewhat sociable is about the best I can do. Because he's not got a good eyeball. But I do want to send people who are attentive. You know what, let's send these two. They're friends. Why not? It's the Lots fan club, once again, coming into effect. And let's continue to attempt to make super soldiers. Ah, ha. Now we're starting to get food things. We're going to have to back to single rations. I know my gaze anxiously to the baskets of baked goods at his feet. The warehouse was still well stocked for the moment. Better get rid of it. Better save for the sorry. That's going to hit hard. We've gone from 5 down to... Come on, show me the damage. Show me the damage. 3. Okay, could be worse. Slightly wounded removed. Tired removed. On an excellent move. A good recovery. Somewhat compassionate added. Belonging added. Nauseated. Relieved. We are short of firewood. We have to do something so we don't freeze. And we found the missing patrol. They got lost. They probably would have found their way back without us sooner or later, but they were grateful for our help. The lieutenant didn't seem very happy when we returned them to camp, but I'm positive that had nothing to do with us. Yep. He's just gone back up. The stores are well stocked. We'll soon be relieving our comrades in the trenches. Make sure your people are ready to march when the time comes. These villagers are suspect. They keep hearing stories of attacks by frankturers on our comrades along the front. Probably mispronouncing that one as well. Well, we've still got somebody that wants a chat. The latrine is filled to the brim. Is there anything else? After all this time out here, sometimes you suddenly realize you have actually improved. I feel like I've learned something new after all. Oh, interesting. Trained in shooting gathered. He didn't actually do any jobs. Is very, very interesting. I'm going to attempt to grab more food. Someone over to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 man's worth of jobs. Okay. Patrol the village. You know what? Let's send Team Lots again. Oh wait, are they not friends? Oh well, I'll be. They're not actually... Blackner isn't part of Team Lots. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Oh, do you know what? In that case, we'll send not Team Lots. They can go patrol the village, latrine duty, Wellinger, chop firewood. Want someone who's big, strong, rough and tough. Ackerman, and so pick up food, falls down. The trenches in 2 turns. What can happen in 2 turns? Ooh, did it just get colder? Nauseated added, nauseated removed. Up to 4 turns worth of rations. And of course, it's an increase of 2 because I should have gone down to 2. Instead, I've gone up to 4. Nice little switcheroo. There are a few prisoners of war in our camp that need guarding. The armed soldier in our village is always unsettling, but your soldier Flackner behaved decently on his patrols. Please tell him I'm very grateful. He is back up to full love for the squad. Could help in potential future interactions. Praise the behavior in the village. Makes him a little bit happier. I will. My hope is still remove his tired of war effect. We've got it down from 3 to 2. I still want to get it all the way down. Continue to guard these captives. Nobody's faltering in any way whatsoever. He is still slow. I think that's the only negative trait I've got. You know what, let's send Team Not Lots again. Well, in fact, you know what, let's send Wellinger with him because he is friends with Flackner. Flackner is very understanding. Very tolerant is the technical word for it. And the next time we go to trenches, so I'm not going to attempt to change any numbers because they don't change properly anyway. As I was passing by the temporary enclosure holding the captured French soldiers, I saw Fleckner fraternizing with the prisoners of war he was meant to guard. Even though he clearly did not speak their language, he managed to communicate successfully through wild gesturing. And it seemed I was observing an exchange of chocolate and tobacco. I will quietly tolerate it. Moved on without comment. In the following days, I saw Fleckner talking and laughing with the prisoners a few more times. Clearly, the incident had not been a one-off. Purposefully, Fleckner walked through the camp directly towards me, but before I could worry about the reason for his visit, I was already caught up in the positive energy that preceded him. He greeted me with a friendly smile. Good afternoon, Herr Underoffizier. I've already completed my task for today, so I wanted to ask if there's anything else I could do. From Fleckner. Wow. Okay. See the excess energy in his lively nature. Nurse Elizabeth can use all the help she can get. Again, without the hospital update, I'm not too worried about that right now. When we get the next update, things like that will become much more necessary, much more useful. Lend a hand to your comrades. Glancing over at the others who are currently carrying out their work. He followed my gaze and nodded enthusiastically. Done. With that, he headed over to them and offered his help, which his comrades gratefully accepted. Did he just become only somewhat distant as opposed to distant? Did I literally just see that tick down in the corner of my eye? Ladies and gentlemen, Framm is physically fit. I bet you haven't seen that too often. Grateful removed, nauseated removed. They are all well rested. Change down to 3 turns worth of rations. Framm is physically fit. Let me say that just one more time for effect. Framm is physically fit. I mean, that's I believe, only way that could be more impressive is if it was cummerbund. I think that's the only way. Have your people ready? It's back to the trenches. I believe we're ready. You're going back to the front. Here is everything your troop needs. Another grenade. That was pretty much it, right? Yeah. Next shipment out of curiosity. For at least a month. Right. We are on 3 weeks worth of rations. Oh, so it did change down. You just don't get it as a descriptor. But it was on 4. It's now on 3. So at least a month. So maybe we'll grab some more supplies when we get back. Hopefully we'll have topped our prestige back off again. Let's go to the trenches and see what we can do there. We do need to fetch rations. There is skirmish going on, and Cuddly Teddy von Karsbrook would like us to increase the space for our future victory. Do you guys want to break the news to him, or shall I? Defensive position, set up ladders, and on the other side we have set up some barbed wire. That looks pretty prominent, to be honest. Set up some ladders. Okay. So we're losing 3 people to work. I'm also going to set up this barbed wire. No, wait, I can put more than 1 to ration, so I'll do all 6. These bunkers, Lots and Friend will send Ackerman. Set up barbed wire. Helps us become builders. Let's set up next pairing. And then Framm and Con can go and get me some ration. Back to camp in 9 turns. Will that happen though? That is the question, because, of course, as we get further into the war, the chances of having to do, should we say, double shifts increase. So at the beginning, it was very uncommon. I have had it, I think, once so far. And then we ended up straight into a battle. So, you know, I remember sitting together in a wide circle, excitedly chatting among themselves. Its charged mood had been growing more and more intense over the last few days. There was hardly any other topic of conversation than Christmas Eve and what it would bring. Some worried about their families at home. The melancholy was visible in many a gaze. And again, the conversations came back to what it was like to have to spend Christmas at the front. What do you think? Con asked the group. Will there be another football match? Surely you've heard about last year's Christmas truce. How strange it must have been when everybody suddenly laid down their weapons and played football together. Some murmured in agreement. One soldier interjected that he would be most excited about the exchange of cigars and cigarettes, and another raved about the food that was supposedly traded last year. I sat a little apart and listened to the conversation. Suddenly, and evidently unexpectedly for everyone, Lieutenant von Karsbrook stood before the men and gave them all a Christmas hug. They were shocked into silence, and all enthusiasm vanished from their faces. "What is all this Nancy drivel?" he snapped at the soldiers. "You are here at the front, and the gentlemen behind these trenches are your enemies. If you didn't keep forgetting that, we would have been in Paris long ago, and could have brought our families a nice victory for Christmas." Then he turned to me. "So far, I was under the impression that you had your men under control. Don't let this kind of behavior catch on." Addressing the men again, he added, "And now back to work, and don't think that the Herr Major will tolerate such fraternization like last year again this Christmas." Then he marched off. Abashedly, my men looked at me. Orders are orders. Orders are orders, I said to the soldiers with a heavy heart, so back to work. Some nodded sadly, and everyone went back to their task. That's probably going to hurt everybody's happiness a bit. 4 days worth of rations. Skirmish should be removed because we are now foggy, but everyone is also no longer well rested. Now, of course, yes, there was the great Christmas armistice in the first year of the war. It did not happen again for the rest of the years of the war. And considering, which is how this game bases its start date, a lot of the beginning of the war was simply digging trenches, trying to outmaneuver each other, and as the war went on, obviously the horrors unfortunately kept increasing, including, as we just had in the last episode, the use of gas. And so, of course, you can imagine as the war went on, as the horrors mounted up, and as the death toll continued to increase, the feelings and the animosity generally among the soldiers, I would guess, continued to increase as well. Of course, I could be completely wrong. I am no historian, but it does make sense that the animosity, of course, continued to increase, and so the chances of everybody simply laying down their arms and having a nice football match probably decreased as well. One of the unfortunate horrors of the war. Now, I would love to go. I have my mouse back now, so I'd love to click on something, but I can't find my mouse. Another communication trench collapsed. Wow, he is hitting us with those hard jobs. I feel like this should be a position for barbed wire. He is hitting us with those hard jobs from the get-go. Well, I'm happy with the barbed wire, because that's going to stop them getting in a bit. I did think here was ladders to get back up here. I don't really want to actually put the ladders, if I'm honest. Over here, I suppose the defensive position could help. Maybe. I generally feel this space is missing barbed wire, but I guess well, we'll leave it for now. It's a very heavy task. We're going to put Team Lots on it. Unfortunately, if you're part of Team Lots, I apologize, you may get extra work. Look, I don't want to make it seem like you're being punished, but you did start the Lots fan club. That's it, next turn. The fog should remain. It usually remains for longer than a day on average. Could have a couple of days worth of that. The rats have been bothering us for days now. The shelter assigned to us was particularly badly affected, as there seemed to be more and more of them. At night they crawled into our shirts and trousers, nibbled at our fingertips, and bit our hair. Ackerman seemed to be particularly affected. With a pale face and bloodshot eyes, he said to me, "Herr Unteroffizier, I can't sleep a wink because of the rats. Is there nothing we can do about them? Let's go rat hunting. Let's see if we can't get the beasts under control." Ackerman's face brightened a little. "I'll be happy to help. It means we can finally get some sleep again," he agreed. I hope that this could really make a difference and not just put additional strain on my men. But perhaps it would also be good for the men to at least feel like they were doing something. Hopefully it will. Yes, we do have fog still coming in as well. He went from favorable to uneasy. I'm a little confused by that because I just gave him what he wanted. And yet, I don't know, I'd have to see the chart to really understand if I'm going the right way. Because I know there is, of course, there is the fear and like scale. And of course, you want to keep somewhere good in it. But I don't know, I feel like just went down. Even though I gave him what he wanted, but we'll see what happens. Von Carbrick still has a job. I just need someone to deliver a message to headquarters. Send me your quickest man. Now, I am trying to gain prestige, so I am in fact going to send him my quickest man. And then to hunt, although he is also good for hunting rats. Be Ackerman and... put him on a rat hunt. I mean, he is still full of beans, and he is very pragmatic, so he should come back nicely. And can I fetch rations? Yes, let's get a top up of rations whilst we have a small chance. As who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. We could get stuck in our trenches due to heavy bombardment. Head off, yeah. Do you want to guess how many rats Wellinger and I have caught? With a broad grin, the rat hunt was a personal vendetta, and his thirst for blood seemed to be quenched. Right? The way you're grinning, you seem to have a whole army on your conscience. 16. Impressive. How did you know that? Pure coincidence, I replied. I take it that's the end of the rat hunt for now. He moved it to one side that I could take a look at the rats he had killed. Wondering Ackerman had tied the rats by the tail to a piece of rope, probably so that they could better show off their work. Good job. The praised two soldiers then worked on. In contrast to killing on the battlefield, the soldiers obviously took joy in killing the rats. Grateful Allied ran for infestation removed. No mood change between themselves and myself. We do have 6 days worth of rations, so we can technically make it to the end of the trench phase, if that is actually the end of the trench phase. No bonus to the message delivery with von Karlsbruck. Still foggy, still cold. Tide removed. Very nice. How can I help you today? The enemy plane was shot down by one of our own and went down behind our lines. Pilot was not found. Send out a patrol. Oh, nice. Nice. I can hopefully... French have been busier than usual lately. I have a bad feeling about this. I can hopefully get the French soldier, French pilot, sorry, and get some extra beans that way. Extra beans, extra love. That'll be you and you. No, so that'll be you. And recon. That will be you. I also want to, ooh, there could be a mix. S. I don't know, defense position is very heavy. I cannot remember. It's only a one thing, right? Yeah, let's try that. Out Wellinger. I don't remember whether building something, although no, it would tell me, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would tell me. Take that off. If it gives me love from Karlsbruck, but I don't think it does. I don't think so. And like I said, do you know what? Let's just test. It's only one person doing a job. I don't think it does. Plus, this could be a bit of a skewed test because obviously, if I find the pilot, although I think that has to be triggered by speaking to him. Find out. Oh, did the fog just leave? Fog did you? And we are stuck in our bunkers. I keep seeing a French soldier with binoculars. When I was scouting, he always started looking just before the artillery started firing. I believe this is the observer for their battery. Maybe we can put pressure on him to prevent further shelling. We have found the enemy pilot. He ran right into us in a small area of forest just at the edge of the trenches. When we handed him over to the lieutenant, treated him almost as a equal. Yes, that didn't go up then, but it has gone up. I'm assuming that was from the pilot, not from me building something. High risk of injury. Well, yep, with this bombardment going on. That would cancel the artillery. Of course, I'll go out there. Rather stay in the shelter. That is an order. Yes. He is uneasy. Ackerman, I want you to go with him. So is Ackerman outspoken? Very outspoken. He is not, is he? No. He's somewhat diplomatic. He is also somewhat diplomatic. Very sociable, somewhat cautious, mind you. Lots. Somewhat outspoken. Framm. And last but not least, where have we got Ackerman? Oh, Fleckner, sorry, hiding. Framm. That is an order. Begging you, enforce obedience. Yes, I'll obey. No reason to court martial, am I right? Please, God Almighty, be with me. God Almighty, be with you. I hope he is. You are both observant, or attentive, and trained in shooting. May God go with you. Artillery fire removed. We kept the French artillery observer constantly under fire whenever he showed himself. I don't think we got him, but it seems he gave up. We haven't seen him for hours now, and the shelling has stopped. You are almost welcome. Relieved has added. The shelling has stopped. We need more space here. Is there anything else? Good job catching the fugitive pilot. That daredevil really tried to sneak through our trenches at night. Even without his airy steed, he is still so brave and daring. Admirable. Truly a knight in flying armor that many of our ordinary soldiers and under-officier could take as an example. Admiring the French, Von Teddy Bear. Tut tut tut. Tut tut tut. Dig those bunkers. We are going to also check. Yeah, let's try and fetch some rations. Let's put Wellinger on that as well. He is very full of beans. And that's it, next turn. That should get us past the end of the stretch phase. Just in case. Oh, Foggy has been added again. Fantastic. I love it. With everything I'm already going through, and now there's also this miserable weather, as if the whole world was conspiring. Do not get tired of this war. He's just no longer determined. That's fine. Yeah, get more tired of war. We're struggling so hard to get rid of that. I urgently need someone to deliver a message to headquarters. Send me your quickest man. We'll go with the quickest man this time. See if we can get a bit more praise before this French phase ends. Hopefully it ends in 2 turns. Like I said, if not, it might go over. We have enough rations for now to make it past that point. Fleckner is no longer tired. I love that. I love how tiredness can now, in fact, go down in the trench phases. I mean, we've got good conditions. There's nothing going on. It's foggy. You know, we weren't attacked. All that kind of stuff. They are, in fact, relaxing a little bit. I do love how that can now go down. Obviously, probably helps. But, you know, most of them are physically fit. So we do actually, in essence, have a small bit of relaxing per turn naturally going on. And let's see if we go back to the camp. Pack your things or stay here. Pack your things. We were relieved. Absolutely beautiful. Now, what I need to try and remember for next episode is obviously I'm trying to decrease Fleckner's Tired of War. A couple of little rewards will probably go a long way. I did do it in one of the previous episodes. I just need to remember to do it in one of the next episodes. Let's go to the next level. Obviously, we'll see how that starts, if there's any stories, what our stats are. Do I hear rain or is that a cooking fire? Still frosty, not raining. So they changed up to strained and he got tired. Again, that's a weird one for me, how they get more tired coming back to camp. I don't know if that is a bug. I have mentioned it previously. I will mention it once again in Discord as soon as I stop recording this episode. And the hospital is partially occupied now. So, not the worst stats, but also, again, these will be re-rolled by RNG when we come back. As will the fact that the latrine is currently full. Or is it firewood? Firewood. Anything else? I'm actually not going to bother clicking on anything else because, you know, it's pointless. We do, however, have a trip to the pub. That will probably also disappear as well. And so until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. If you can, feel free to put down in the comments below, give Fleckner gifts. Just as a reminder, it will very much help me to remember to treat Fleckner with a little bit more love next episode. And maybe we can decrease his Tide of War stats by 1 more bar. Who knows? Because he is my greatest worry, as I've mentioned previously. He's doing okay now, but I am worried that if he has a bad day, he may attempt to third. And so until next time, ladies and gentlemen, from myself and our beautiful squad, who is on Christmas Eve, I've just noticed. Until we do see you again, I hope that you can all stay safe, happy, and healthy.